I just bought more XRP. The price on the TV was sitting at 207, so when I went to go buy on Coinbase, I ended up getting in at 209. So now officially that the TV's caught up, we're in profit by... Oh man, we're in profit. I mean, you guys know, never financial advice ever. I'm just documenting my thoughts, literally my thoughts just pouring out as this market unfolds. So what actually happened this week? The CFTC, SEC, and DTCC all moved in the same direction this week. Different agencies, different mandates, but the same structural outcome. XRP is now treated as a commodity-grade collateral asset inside a federally regulated derivatives ecosystem. This is not narrative, that is plumbing. And it happened today. Most people saw the headline, almost nobody connected the rails. Number one, the CFTC approved XRP as an acceptable asset for Bitnomial's regulated derivatives platform. This is the same standard applied to gold, FX, treasuries, and LME metals. You do not get included unless you're considered settlement capable and institutional grade. The SEC did not object. That silence is not an accident. It is interagency alignment. This is the first time XRP, the SEC, and the CFTC have converged in a way that directly impacts federally supervised market structure. Bitnomial becomes the quiet kingmaker, not because of the venue itself, but because it is CFTC registered, futures eligible, collateral driven, integrated with clearing flows that plug directly into institutional pipes. A platform like that does not list XRP unless regulators have already determined what XRP is. Then the DTCC, that always jumbles me up, DTCC, moved towards 24/5 settlement windows. This isn't about equity convenience. It's about interoperability with digital collateral, tokenized treasuries, and real-time clearing. You don't expand the window unless the collateral layer is being modernized. Now add the timing. Bitnomial approval, CFTC commodity treatment, DTCC structural update, all inside 1 week. Coincidence? Not a chance, according to this guy. This is what integrated market architecture looks like when it turns on. Now zoom out. Oh, he's getting... I feel like these are AI articles, but even still, they just kind of like lay the plan out. Derivatives markets run on deep collateral and instant settlement. XRP cannot function in that system at low valuations. Neither could gold. Neither could Bitcoin before CME futures. High-value collateral is a prerequisite to high-volume derivatives. The end state is obvious. Derivatives, collateral, settlement, repricing. Start with the destination and the path becomes clear. And none of this includes the Singapore MPI license, Vanguard enabling XRP ETF access, dark pool absorption, that's a huge one, RLUSD corridors readiness, oh man, activation of Hong Kong, Africa corridors, REDOT, the 2025 to 2026 derivatives growth windows. Put it together, people. This wasn't a bullish week. This was a structural alignment week for the ages of history. Most assets never receive this treatment. Even fewer receive it from multiple agencies in the same window. Today wasn't a headline, it was a classification, and the future system just told you what XRP is, defined what it is and isn't. If you track settlement rails filings and liquidity mechanics, follow along, let's roll. Yeah, this guy's account, whether he's using AI or not, son of a rich, you son of a rich. So what did this guy say? I just saw a glimpse. What nobody is talking about is XRPL was just approved to settle 100 billion and growing daily volume market, i.e. crypto perpetual futures, on the only USG approved CFTC exchange. Let's say Bitnomial only gets 15%. That's 5.5 trillion annually settled on XRPL. Say what you will about Elon X, whatever. The best feature ever invented is this right here. You can just hit the Grok button. It pops up on the side and Grok gives you a rundown of this. And then you can start digging into someone's claim, you know, because they'll say something and I'll be like, all right, so in the post it said this, like, doesn't this conflict with this? Crypto perpetual futures trade over 100 billion daily globally per CoinGlass data. The post's 5.5 trillion annual estimate assumes Bitnomial captures 15% market share, a speculative but plausible growth projection for a new regulated entrant. This development aligns with November 2025 announcements enabling XRP margin deposits on Bitnomial for leveraged products, enhancing XRPL's role in US compliant high-volume institutional flows without direct SEC conflict. And there's another post, I don't know if we're going to get to it today, that goes back to when back when Gary was in the house and Bitnomial was arguing with the SEC for XRP status, because the SEC was trying to say that it was a security. So they were going at it literally over this issue. People missed what Bitnomial actually built. Most people still think crypto futures in the US are just cash-settled casino chips. They aren't paying attention. Bitnomial went a completely different direction, and that direction matters way more than people realize. They built the only US exchange where regulated futures settle in the underlying asset itself. No slippage, no conversion step, no cash IOU. If you hold through expiration, you receive actual crypto. That unlocks true ownership, crypto as margin, real delivery, on-chain settlement, strategies that don't exit in cash-settled markets. And suddenly, miners, treasuries, funds, ETFs, and institutions can hedge, settle, deliver, borrow, lend, and manage exposure using the real asset, not a synthetic mirror. This is why they fought so hard for XRP classification. This is why they built crypto-settled derivatives. This is why the screenshots you're seeing matter. Nobody talked about it at the time, but when you look back, the pattern is obvious. The US was quietly wiring in the rails for real digital asset settlement, not speculation. They told us, we just weren't listening, I guess, according to this guy. Of course, the zoom button doesn't work, but so what he highlighted, it says, current regulations require the security underlying a single, it cuts off, futures product to be registered pursuant to Section 12 of Exchange Act. However, XRP is not a security. Bitnomial lacks the authority. It makes, dude, that's actually fucking crazy. That really is huge. They built the only U.S. exchange where regulated futures settle in the underlying asset itself. Like, you could settle Bitcoin and other cryptos in the underlying asset itself, but the fact that this is the first fucking CFTC regulated one, that is way bigger than people think. Wow. Yet again, always do your own research. Always listen to multiple people. Find a couple of people who you think you can trust, in the Fokker circle of trust. That's what you need. And then make up your own mind. That's it. Yet again, I'm in this for the long haul. I don't know why people are still, I assume they're bots online, dude. Everyone freaks out about price action. It's just, dude, when you read a statement like that, just for crypto as a whole, it's just, how the hell can you possibly not be bullish? Chainlink just made an amazing post talking about the immense amount of partnerships with real companies they've been integrating with. It's just, come on. So our boy Bare Naked Crypto goes, now the next goalpost is for Jay Claver to lie to people that somehow the reverse yen carry trade is good for XRP. Here's to another 5 years of moving goalposts. This guy, he goes after everyone. Nobody's safe. All right, so what the hell is this guy saying? Hold on.
What Elon is pioneering is not what is impossible in space exploration. He's pioneering what was unrealistic in terms of price and just cost.
He's out there doing it, though.
The engineering is getting a workover, but consider that he hasn't done anything that NASA hasn't already done. The actual space frontier is still held by NASA, right? And it remains to be shown if his new ventures have commercial support, commercial value. Because if they don't, then...
If they don't, you kidding me? You don't see Starlink literally destroying, like it's going to be the de facto...
It's a one-off, and it's a spectacle.
In my mind, in the future.
But it'll just, it'll go, what'll happen? It'll, we'll applaud it, but then he goes on to his other projects. So
all right, but dude, what is this guy even talking about? He just doesn't like Elon. You could tell he's like reaching for straws to smash SpaceX. They haven't done already? Dude, are you kidding me? I don't know. Last time I checked, NASA doesn't have, these fucking rockets re-enter an orbit and drop it into, bing, just like that. It catches them, boop, in between. Yeah, I don't think they have reusable rocket technology like that, my guy. This one caught my attention, bro. Does Ripple's love for the Grateful Dead song Ripple reveal a hidden connection in the UN's global agenda? Is the Grateful Dead
really just a hippie band whose song Ripple resonates with executives at Ripple?
Grateful Dead, super fan. It's related to the song Ripple from the Grateful Dead. We always love the Grateful Dead.
Or does their presence at the highest level agenda in the world reveal a much deeper connection to Ripple than their music? Remember from this video how every single country signed on to a single world agenda 10 years ago without their citizens ever even knowing about it?
Did you know that every single government in the world has committed to these? Every single government to agree to these. The government of Norway, the government of Australia, the government of Ethiopia, the government of Rwanda.
An agenda that requires crypto to succeed, that basically describes XRP's use case, the Sustainable Development Goals.
An alliance of governments and companies and international organizations that are each committed, each has to commit before they join the alliance to moving away from cash to some form of digital option. We've got to solve this
The
problem.
alliance.
And we have to solve it because we care about achieving the Sustainable Development Goals.
Yeah, I'm
Literally
sure
the
that's
North
why.
Star of innovation in the fourth industrial revolution for the past 10 years, and still the general population has no idea what the SDGs are. Okay, well, you want to know who does know what the SDGs are?
Don't say
Grateful
it.
Dead co-founder and United Nations Goodwill Ambassador of the SDGs, Bob Weir. Weir's
What?
role as Goodwill Ambassador is to shine a spotlight on the important part climate action plays in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, which were agreed upon by world leaders to protect the environment and achieve a brighter future for all.
Oh,
So the
yeah,
guy
for
who
all.
founded
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Grateful
yeah.
Dead is an SDGs ambassador, the world agenda every single country signed up for that describes, envisages, and requires the exact digital money system Ripple and XRP are building. Weird, but it keeps going. Here's the Grateful Dead partnering with 5 different companies for the SDGs.
These
And here's
videos are
Grateful
great.
Dead bandmates Mickey Hart and Bill Kreutzmann playing a promotional concert for the United Nations in 2020. But look what the
Wow.
goal of this show was in the first place. The online event is produced by Playing for Change and seeks to unite the world in taking action for a sustainable future and advance progress towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay,
Whoa.
so Playing for Change is a UN initiative whose mission is to advance the SDGs. The Grateful Dead plays music for them. Ripple loves the Grateful Dead.
The song Ripple.
And the SDGs basically love Ripple. But you know what's even crazier about that? Just 2 months before the SDGs were finalized in September 2015, the Playing for Change Foundation put out another music video in collaboration with the Grateful Dead.
What
Can
did it
you
say?
guess what
Ripple?
song?
Yo, don't say it.
Ripple!
No! Are you kidding me? This is
You guys,
crazy.
this is it. The ultimate synchronization of the world's biggest agenda, Ripple and the Grateful Dead. The
Stop
perfect
it.
word Ripple that describes the money system the SDGs depends on, where each dollar can result in ripples of change toward a more sustainable world. The premier crypto company Ripple, bringing this exact system to life. The song Ripple by the Grateful Dead, the one song the company Ripple uses as its guiding principle. And that's the song the UN makes a music video for 2 months before the SDGs are finalized? I mean, come on.
What? That is pretty. Yo, this guy, how does he do this research? It's actually mind-boggling. Yeah. Oh, those are just so fun. The greater true mystery. Is this the ultimate? I don't even know what to call it. It's not even pre-programming. It's just them doing what they're gonna do. They're gonna enact this initiative, this one world, new world order, whatever you want to call it. This new way they want the world to go, the direction. They're in charge of it. They're just doing it. No one's stopping them. So Treasury Besson saying the U.S. will finish the year with 30%. All right, well, I mean, he said that, so whatever. There's that. Tom Lee sees Ethereum potentially hitting 62,000. Okay. Yeah, I trust this guy. I trust this guy with my life, dude. You kidding me? You could let this guy watch your newborn baby and nothing will go wrong. I'm not even saying anything against Tom Lee. I'm saying he's a trustworthy guy. That microphone. But okay. All right. So then I'll say I potentially see Ethereum hitting 0. How about that? I could say whatever I want to. Tokenization is an $867 trillion opportunity. Only one platform has been adopted by Swift, Euroclear, UBS, MasterCard, and other leaders to provide tokenization use cases, all in the past 12 months. Chainlink's been out there making moves too, dude. Absolutely. This has always been my question too after I got into the space, and yet again I own some Bitcoin, Ethereum. But then you wake up to yet again the media. The media is not your friend, and you literally just have to ask the core question of why. And that's the exact thing. Crypto has been constantly bombarded by a Bitcoin, Ethereum sales pitch for the last decade. It fascinates me that nobody ever addresses this elephant in the room. Why only these two? Why do they need constant marketing around the price? That's the number one question you really gotta ask, dude. That's the core question. God, I wish I could have fucking. I got a very small glimmer of this, of Blockbuster in that era before it all became this shit. Showing my age here, but renting a movie was a weekend ritual that made Blockbuster a $6 billion empire. You drove to the store, paid $4 to $5 to rent one VHS or DVD for 2 to 3 days, prayed the copy you wanted wasn't already rented out, and got slammed with $5 to $10 late fees if you forgot to return it on time. Blockbuster had 9,000 stores and ranked in billions just from those late fees alone. Then Netflix showed up. First with mail-order DVDs, already cheaper and more convenient, but the real killer was streaming in 2007. Suddenly you paid $8 to $15 a month and got unlimited movies instantly on any device, no driving, no due dates, no late fees, no out of stock. Blockbuster laughed it off, stuck to their physical stores, and filed for bankruptcy in 2010. By 2013, they were gone. Crypto was the Netflix moment for money and banking. I've seen how this movie ends. If you're a financial institution and you don't have a digital asset strategy, it's only going to end one way. That's exactly true. That's exactly what's happening, in my opinion. You know, I don't know what other way you could view this. It's the internet of value. It's the same pony as not getting on board with the internet. Crazy. Same thing. Just because you're first to market does not mean you win the long game. Not by any means. I remember we watched a video and the guy was talking about the first web browser that wasn't Google. He said the name, and right now I don't even remember the name because I didn't even know it existed as the first web browser, search engine, whatever it is. Here we go. The acting CFTC chair, Caroline Pham. That's a nice picture. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, she's always out here posting thirst traps. The acting CFTC chair. Look. I bet we could. Yeah, there we go. Yo, top. Lock in. All right, lock in. What's next? Yeah, there you go. Stay tuned. All right, stay tuned. Lock in. All right, then Bitnomial shows up. There's pictures of her and Brad, even though there's pictures of her with Sam from FTX2 and everything. But so Crypto Eerie has a different take on what's going on. She says, even if Japan hikes rates, surprising given their massive stimulus package, it only reached 0.75% versus 3.75% in the U.S. The yield gap stays huge, so U.S. assets are still attractive, meaning no mass carry trade unwind. Anything can happen, but that's her take. Orlando Brown has gone completely off the train. If you know who this is, he's crazy, the interviews, but he's like spitting here.
Why does not America look like Dubai and Germany? And why doesn't America look like Russia and Persia?
I think I might just cut that from the whole video because the video will get taken down. XRP was 0.009, always smart to zoom out because he goes, fun fact, 10 years ago, Bitcoin was 388. Insane. 0.009. Could you fucking imagine? Could you imagine? That's what I mean. When you zoom out and you think about where we're at right now. I'm sitting here in this room drinking a Celsius, making a YouTube video. Cool. December 7th. The world, your world could be, I'm not even just saying XRP. I'm saying if you play your fucking cards right and you tap in, this is never financial advice. This is tapping in just in general, beating or trying to game the matrix. You know, that's essentially what it comes down to. We're all in the matrix. It's you got to have your Neo moment, dude, and seeing the ability that we front ran these institutions almost with almost 99% certainty. That yet again, not short-term price horizon shit, but we fucking front ran the institutions by years. Years, dude. Granted, this is all an elaborate plan, but we saw what was in front of our eyes. And when this moment happens, whenever it is, never financial advice. Always make up your own mind. Things are looking so good. So good. And you got these bots, dude. Bots are legit like human NPCs. Oh, the price is down though. Oh my god. I just at this point it's yeah, if you threw your money in the last year or two, whenever, and buying at all-time highs, and now you're sitting there crying because you don't know what you're doing, and you're just kind of throwing money at the wall. That's what happens. I mean, but some of those lessons are important because I was just watching Peter Schiff debate Binance CZ about gold versus Bitcoin and everything, and what Peter said about, he goes, the good thing about all the youngsters and everything getting into Bitcoin, and then when they eventually lose it all, is that when you're young, you still have a long time left in your life to accumulate that wealth back up. He goes, when you're young, you don't have enough wealth, so it's like your whole world, but you got to work back up to it, and it's a lesson you learn. Not saying that's a good thing, like I never wish that upon anybody, but going through some of these hurdles, like I said, when I lost some through Celsius, that was a solidifying moment. I was already weary of everything, and then that just reassured. You gotta, not that I don't think this strategy is at all playing safe, but in my mind, and I think a lot of this community's mind, not even just saying XRP solely, because there's a handful of projects we like, and there's even more people are more tapped into, like an IOTA or an HBAR. I'm not tapped into those like that, but I've always heard good things coming from that, hence why HBAR just got an ETF, hence why Link just got an ETF, just why Solana got an ETF. Like They wouldn't give these if there wasn't a demand. I'm surprised XLM has not had its own ETF yet, but it's in the basket ETFs. For I think Bitwise offers one, and then Easy Peasy from Franklin Templeton has an allocation of that in there. These products are just going to get more and more popular, dude, and just never financial advice. Why do you think Ethereum bull Tom Lee will sometimes mention Solana but seems to never mention Cardano? Why does he never mention anything else? That's the question.
I think that VCs overlook the Cardano ecosystem. Some do, some don't. It just depends on the location. Is it a family office? Is it certainly A16Z and others are like, Cardano. But, the problem is that we didn't...
Why do you think that is?
Because we didn't have any Ponzonomics for them. I mean, let's be honest here. The vast majority of VCs, let's just be honest, the way they approach it is liquidity. So they say, when is the token coming out? Where's the marketplace for the token going to be? Do I get an early distribution? How do I exit that early distribution when the retail people come in? And you've seen numerous layer ones and dApps, we won't name names, where they launch to market at a very high valuation. The insiders dump, they go down, and they walk away with a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, CNBC, Tom Lee, Michael Saylor, Bitcoin's great, Ethereum's great. Yeah, it's Q4 2025, guys. The whole year they were spouting 250 Bitcoin, $7 billion fucking Ethereum, 200 Bitcoin. Now, I think it can hit all-time high in January. Is Tom Lee up on stage? Michael Saylor's shitting his pants, dude. He's at Binance trying to communicate. This is why you still... Yeah, my company's not on fire at all. Yo, you can follow me on X. Guys, hit the like button, comment, subscribe. Turn on notifications to help the YouTube channel, and join our group, the Minutemen. You could join the Patreon, linked in the description below. Exclusive videos there weekly, and I'm going to get the Discord going. And the recent video was tough. We were talking about psychedelic trips. We were talking about some of the crazy stuff going on in the North Pole and Antarctica, Operation High Jump. Yeah, and the depopulation agenda. This guy, Henry Kissinger, it's an investigative reporter, even though he goes there and he burns the bridge with this guy because he's asking him up front about the depopulation agenda. And he's like, you're fine. And they're in some fancy ballroom, and they would have went after the kid. It could have been bad. Yeah, all that on Patreon. Appreciate you. I will see you on the next one.